Hello and welcome to the Freelance Festival, where each week we meet new business owners who share their expertise on how to run a successful business. This week we're talking about how to break stereotypes and carve yourself a niche with Rachel Martin, founder of Accountancy, an accountancy business aimed at female entrepreneurs and influencers.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Freelance Festival. My name is Rachel Martin. I am a speaker, an author, a business owner, and most importantly for today, I am an accountant. I specialise in working with female entrepreneurs and influencers, and our wider accountancy practice, StriveX, helps businesses of all shapes and sizes, and we absolutely love offering a person-centred, holistic approach to the way we offer and deliver our accountancy services. I'm super active on Instagram and would love to see you over on my channel, and you can find me by searching for accountant_she. So I won't go on too much about myself today because you are the reason we are here. So in today's session, we are going to be covering breaking barriers, overcoming stereotypes, and carving your niche. So when it comes to breaking barriers, my work focuses on the barriers to entry that female entrepreneurs currently face. So in the UK as a whole, 1 in 3 entrepreneurs are female, which means that for every woman, there are 2 men. But in the last 12 months, women made up 60% of the newly self-employed category, which is amazing and it's really, really encouraging. Across the globe, the share of women among small business owners has reached nearly 40%, and that is up from, are you ready for it? That is up from just 4.6% in 1972. So if we look at the reasons why more women aren't becoming business owners, Forbes in 2020 conducted interviews and studies into the difficulties that women face when starting a business. And they cited that lack of business guidance, access to funding or finance, and imposter syndrome as limiting factors. So Accountancy was founded with the goal of being able to actually take those 3 individual points and provide female business owners with either solutions or support. So if we take business guidance, first of all, we really educate not just women, but all of our clients about their business. And I'm currently studying an MBA, so a master's degree in business. And I'm really able to apply and teach the modules covered on my MBA and coach my clients through running a business. We also provide free software training to all of our clients to ensure that a knowledge gap is no longer a barrier to entry. And we really try to empower our clients to take control and feel comfortable and confident with their finances. So barrier to entry number 2 was access to funding or finance. At the moment, only 7% of private equity and venture capital is invested in female-led businesses. And statistically, female-led businesses will receive only 65% of the funding received by male-led businesses. So that's 2 businesses, 2 pitches. The business is the same and the pitch is the same. The only difference is who is sat in the seat. The woman would receive 65% of the funding offered to the man. The reasons that come out when we look into this further and we ask the question why are listed as gender biases during the investment process, incorrect assumptions made by investors about female-led businesses, and that there are actually fewer women in positions of seniority at influential firms. So we work with all of our clients to try and help them to thrive and not just survive in business. We educate them all about different self-funding business models and methods so that they wouldn't even have to approach a bank for finance. Moving on from that, if they did have to approach a bank for finance, we are an official accountant partner of Starling Bank, and Starling is a female-led company. Their founder, who is Anne Bowden, which many people in 2021 have heard of. Anne Bowden was the first female founder of a British bank, and they are absolutely committed to their Women in Finance charter. So the third and final barrier to entry for women in business in 2020 was listed as imposter syndrome. So the technical definition is quite hard to take in. So if I just explain it in a way, have you ever felt like you don't belong or like your friends or your colleagues are going to discover that you're a fraud and that you don't actually deserve your job and your accomplishments. If you feel that way or have ever felt that way, then you have experienced imposter syndrome. So coming back to the technical definition of imposter syndrome, it's cited as the idea that you've only succeeded due to luck and not because of your talent or your qualifications. So within accountancy, I work really, really closely with all of my clients to try and help them rationalize their thoughts, have open conversations about identifying those feelings and working together to really recognize their achievements in a much more positive way. Okay, overcoming stereotypes. This is something that I am really, really passionate about. I don't know if it's because I work within an industry with an incredibly strong stereotype, but breaking the accountant stereotype is a huge part of the work that I do within accountancy. We actually have a very special name for the accountant stereotype, and that is the stale, pale male. When most people think of an accountant, that is the first image that comes to their mind. And why? Why is that the first image that comes to their mind? So put very simply, stereotypes help us as human beings, and they help us to operate in a complex, fast-paced reality where our mind receives 11 million bits of information from our body every second, and our brain has the maximum capability of processing less than 50 bits of it in 1 second. So in order to ease some of the weight on our brain, our mind constructs narratives and builds relationships between events that have happened in the past and compare them to what is happening now. So if you have always encountered an accountant that looks like this lovely happy man with an abacus, then your brain will anticipate that all future accountants will also fit that stereotype. So it's my job as someone who's trying to change that stereotype to increase people's awareness of the different model that I want to replace that stereotype with. So now we've addressed the stereotype, now we come on to challenging it. So in terms of challenging the stereotype, everything from our logo, our punny name, accountancy, and the platform that we are building is challenging the stereotype. We're not stale pale males, we are pink, we are girly, and we are passionate. Okay, so one of the best ways I could think to show you guys how to address a stereotype and then move it out of your way is to show you a piece that we shared on social media recently that reached over 7,000 people. So this is a reel that it took me longer to persuade my fiance to do it than any other part of it, but we dressed my life and business partner up as the stale pale male to showcase what people think an accountant is versus what we are. So we called it accountancy versus accountancy. And I would like to just really quickly play you this reel. Okay, so hopefully you can see A, how much fun we have at accountancy, but B, how vital it is to address your stereotype, challenge your stereotype, and then smash the stereotype. And there's lots of different things that you can do to really encourage that and move it forward, especially when you're building an audience. So within a sales funnel, the first stage in a sales funnel is awareness. And actually, by having a very strong brand colors, brand identity, even clothing, if what you're building, similar to me, is a personal brand, you can use all of those things to leverage people's awareness of you, which then means that even if they don't need your services right now, whenever they do, you will be the first person they think of because you have completely redirected the stereotype that they had before. So next up is how to carve your niche. I, like many people before I niched down, really had a misconception that carving a niche within an industry meant cutting yourself off to everybody else. And I've had people approach me and say, you know, you only work with women. Is that a little bit like, are you a bit sexist? Or does it cut you off? Do you not work with men? And actually, we've been able to bring accountancy up and bring it in partnership with the existing wider accountancy practice that we already have, and they are now completely complementary brands. So if we get somebody that doesn't exactly fit my niche come through, we welcome them, we're really excited, and we make sure we match them with someone who's really, really well matched to them. Again, this becomes really important when, like us, the industry that you work in is built on trust. So many service-based industries, specifically professional service-based industries, the relationship is built on trust and trust alone. So many of the work, many of the jobs that we get, and many of the clients that we take on come from referrals and personal referrals, because that's how we do business. So it's really important to understand that whilst niching down, you're not cutting yourself off to other people, but it is important to have it very clearly defined within your business before you niche down how you approach people that come to you that don't directly fit your niche, whether or not you're not going to work with them or whether or not you're able to offer them something different. So when it comes to carving a niche, the first step is to identify your niche. In order to do that, there's a couple of different things you can do. So in terms of identifying your niche, step one would be to identify your talents and skills. For me, that was obvious. I am a qualified accountant. So being in the accounting industry was definitely something that I knew I wanted to do. But if you are broader, if you've just been made redundant, or you're considering moving into the freelance space for the first time, it's really important to look at your talents, look at your skills, and make a list of things that are options for you. Step two is to then look at what do you enjoy doing the most. One of the best bits about being self-employed is that you only have to take jobs that you want to, and you only have to work with people that you want to, and it truly is, the freedom is one of the number one reasons people choose to be self-employed. So step two, and possibly the heaviest weighted category, is what do you enjoy doing the most? And it's really important to spend a lot of time thinking about that one. What do you enjoy the most? Not because it's what you get paid the most for, or not because it's what is recognized widely. Like, what do you enjoy the most? Because in the cold light of day, it's you that has to sit there when it's dark and all your friends are in the pub because you're working really hard. So what do you enjoy doing the most is step two. Okay, so step three on the journey of identifying your niche is to consider, what do people need the most? For us, this was a very strategic decision. We knew that the accounting industry and the influencer industry specifically was going to be very targeted in the next couple of years by HMRC, and we had first mover advantage. There was no other accountant yet that was specialising in working with influencers. So what do people need the most? Again, with COVID-19, we are seeing a wave of opportunity and new opportunity, new industries that did not even exist a year ago are absolutely flying now. So what do people need the most? Again, is something to spend a lot of time thinking about, spend a lot of time doing research. There are lots of different search engines that you can use which tell you what other people are searching the internet for. So really, really utilize data and knowledge as much as you can. The final step in identifying your niche is to have a look at which aspect of what you enjoy and where the gap is can you monetize. And again, being self-employed, very, very important that you are able to take what you like doing, take what people need done, and to be able to monetize it. Again, in a professional industry or in a product-based industry, we have different types of monetization and different types of revenue streams. So the number one revenue stream for us is our professional services, our accountancy services, but then we really, really wanted to generate a type of income where we could make money while we sleep. And for us, that's where the book, The Tax Guide for Influencers, came in. So as accountants, we can normally only generate income when we are awake and at our desk, preparing tax returns and company accounts. So we moved away for a second, and I spent some time during lockdown writing my book, The Tax Guide for Influencers, and that has opened up a whole new revenue stream for us as accountants. So really, really important to focus on which aspect of what you love and what people need can you monetize and leverage in a way that meets your needs. So once you have identified your niche, the next step is to create a solid service offering. Nobody needs you to be confused. That doesn't serve you, it doesn't serve your potential customers, and it's not gonna go well. So it's really important to make sure that you understand and that you are confident in your service offering. The final step, so we've identified our niche, we now understand our service offering. The final step is to become an expert. So niching down, and one of the benefits to your customers of approaching someone who has a niche is that that person should be the most knowledgeable person in the industry when it comes to that subject. So the tax guide for influencers, people are coming to me and there is an expectation that I've given them that I know all about the tax rules and tax specifics for influencers. So it's really, really important. If you're going to niche down, you have to know your niche inside out and become the expert. So just to summarize everything that we've covered today, step one was breaking barriers. We looked at the barriers to entry, which were lack of business guidance, access to funding or finance, and imposter syndrome. And it would be really great if you guys could list what your top 3 barriers to entry were for you. So regardless of where you are at on your journey at the moment, if you are dipping your toe in the water and thinking about becoming a freelancer, list what's stopping you. You're here, you're engaged, you're listening to me. The passion is obviously there. So it would be really good to take some time to think about the top 3 barriers to entry for you. Then once you've done that, I would really like you to look at the industry that you're in and to think about the stereotype that exists at the moment regarding your industry, and to work out if you want to lean into that stereotype or whether or not it is going to serve your business to challenge it. And then finally, I would really, really love for you guys to work on identifying your niche, solidify your service offering, and look at how to become an expert.